Claire, welcome to the pod. So good to see you.
Good to see you too. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here. I love podcasts.
So you're a planner and a bride.
Yes, a little bit of everything.
All the things.
All the things. I'm having, honestly, a lot of fun with it. I feel like I've been in the industry for like 7 years now. And I feel like because of that, planning has just been seamless.
Oh, it's seamless. It's
seamless.
not, there's no stress. You're feeling good.
Yeah. We also have like a little bit of a longer, I think it's more normal now. It's like almost a year and a half. Mm-hmm. But I think that contributes to why it feels like so seamless is because like, I feel like up until you get to the year mark, it doesn't really count. Like anything I do in between like when we got engaged and when we hit a year, whatever, like I'm ahead of the game. Once we hit a year, I'm like allowed to start stressing.
Yeah, now you got to get the show on the road.
Totally.
Got to start planning.
Yeah, totally. But it's so fun.
So you've been in the industry for 7 years, but you've been in the spotlight for like a couple years now, right? So you blew up on wedding TikTok. Is it wedding talk?
Yeah, whatever you want to call it. Wedding TikTok, wedding talk.
Like walk us through that. So give us a quick little background on how you got into planning and then how you kind of blew up on wedding talk.
Yeah. So I think we got to scoot further back from when my career started. I have a degree in teaching, like elementary school. That's what I was going to do, like my whole life. And so I did that. And then I came into wedding planning in the middle of college, just as like a fun side job. And then
like helping with like day of coordinating or working for a planner.
Yeah. So I worked at Anthropologie at the time, which just was honestly for fun. It was the holidays and they have like the best holiday things. My manager was a planner on the side. And so I was like, can I come to help, please? It just sounds so fun at one of her weddings. And I did, and I loved it. So once I did that.
You loved your feet hurting after 12 hours of standing on them?
I don't know. I was like 19 and literally just like it was giddy. It was so fun. And so anyways, I started my business in college because of that.
Oh, okay.
And so I've always loved to teach people how to plan their wedding because I feel like for better, for worse, there's a bit of gatekeeping that happens in this industry. And so I was like, as a planner, I know these like easy things that brides might not know. And so I wanted to share that with them. So even on Instagram, like prior to TikTok even being a thing, I did this thing called Wedding Tip Wednesday. I had like 400 followers and I would just share like, hey, cut your guest count and you'll save a lot of money on your budget or whatever the case is.
Like little tips here and there.
Little tips that like just actually make a difference and all that stuff. So then when TikTok came around, I had a friend who was like, you really should just start and try. And I got really fortunate because it just picked up really quickly for me. So I think it was within 6 months, I had over 1 million followers, which was wild.
Whoa.
Wild. I think, yes, it's the content I was creating and people just responded well to it. But I also think it was in the era of TikTok where they wanted people on the platform and they were like, please create content.
So it was your timing
as
well as the type of content.
Totally. Yeah. So.
And when was that? That was during the pandemic, 2020?
2021 actually.
Oh, okay.
Like January 2021. So still technically the pandemic. Yeah.
I talk to so many content creators who have to get over that like cringe factor. That's what they call it, like being embarrassed to create content. Like, did you have that or not really? Because you were kind of already doing it and it was a business account.
Totally. That was what made it easy is I'm like not sharing about my daily life. And so if you have an opinion about something I'm sharing about a wedding, okay.
You were less attached to it.
Awesome. Yeah. I also film in my car most of the time. Like maybe I do experience the cringe factor and like I'm afraid of it because I don't love to film in public. I'm willing to do it, but I don't have to do it as much. But I think because I was doing tips and tricks on Instagram and was receiving good feedback, sharing it on TikTok felt like this is easy. Like brides want to know this. If like somebody is really have a problem with like what I'm doing or is going to like make fun of me.
Yeah. Who cares?
Okay. Yeah. Like, I don't know. I'm sharing wedding tips. Like, come on. So.
Good point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you remember like the moment when like one of your videos was like going viral that you realized like, oh shit, this is like a thing?
Yes. Yeah. I have a video of myself reacting because I had one friend who was like, you have to do TikTok, do it for 1 month. If you hate it, you can stop.
Like you had a challenge, like posting every day?
No, it was just like, try it for a month. I'm also very all or nothing. It is either my like only thing that I think about or I don't ever touch it. And so when I started TikTok, I was doing every day because I was just committed and so on. And so I posted one, and within like probably a week, I had one that like got like tens of thousands of views. And I remember being like, whoa, what is happening? So I like have this video that I took on a walk that I sent to like my cousin and a really good friend of mine. My cousin's like my sister. And I was like, I do not know what's happening, but oh my gosh. Like, I also think because at the time, like most of us were just on Instagram and virality was so much harder to come by.
Oh, impossible on Instagram. It's so hard
now.
Yeah.
Like with Reels now, you definitely can hit that if you like have the right piece of content, but it's so much harder.
Yeah.
On TikTok, it's like, I don't know. I think if you just try TikTok for 6 months and actually are like committed to good content and like you can refine it, I think everybody can go viral. So yeah, it was wild. It felt extremely surreal for like, I mean, it still does, to be totally honest, but for like a year and a half, I was like, this is going to disappear, right? Like, I'm going to wake up tomorrow and it's going to be gone. And I think it's like good to kind of think that way because then
keeps you on your toes.
Yeah, you don't ever take it for granted. But yeah, it was.
So how has your business changed since then? Because I imagine you're giving away free advice, which what people don't realize is only 30% of couples hire like a full-on planner. The rest are doing it themselves. So you're really giving that advice to, the masses, which likely don't have the budget or aren't going to be hiring a planner. But I imagine it's given you a lot of extra attention. Like, how has it changed your business?
It has. My business has evolved with it because, to your point, I realized that there are brides with all budgets, right? Like the weddings that I plan would be like high-end, borderline luxury weddings. But
is there an average budget or a minimum that you need?
I don't necessarily have a minimum, but definitely a large majority is in like multiple six figures.
Oh, okay. That's a juicy wedding.
Yeah, they're fun. I love them.
Spending other people's money helping them plan.
That's maybe been the hardest part of planning my own is I'm like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I have to sign this contract and give you my money.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's changed. So I take fewer weddings. I used to do like 35 or 40, which.
Wow. A year?
Yes. Which was.
Wow.
Like it took me a full calendar year to like recover from that.
How big was your team?
I did every one.
And did you, that is a lot.
Assistants.
You're very, very organized. What's your sign? Are you Virgo?
I don't know. I'm June 21st. So I'm always on the border of like Gemini and Cancer.
Okay.
But.
You have to have a lot of Virgo in your chart if you're planning 40-something plus weddings in a year.
I'm going to be honest. I'm a much better planner today doing 15 weddings than I was doing 35 or 40. I still I never had any major hiccups. I always felt like I had happy couples, but it's just unreasonable to be like, you can only split your attention so many ways. So,
wow.
But I loved my job. That's why I did it, is because I was like, people would inquire and I'd be like, I'm not taking anymore. And then I'd be like, but wait, like you're so nice. And like,
but having I'm literally thinking about the 40 weddings. How many inquiries were you getting? How many screenings were you doing to get to that 40? That is a lot of work. So the 15 makes sense.
Yes.
But I imagine those 40 didn't have the multiple six figure. Okay.
Exactly.
So you went, got it.
Exactly. So I had a lot of inquiries come in. Transparently, like at the beginning of my career, as with everybody, your prices are lower. You're more accessible to everybody. And so I would have lots of inquiry calls and most people would say yes. So I definitely had more inquiry calls than like 40, obviously, maybe like 90,
so maybe you
100.
were pricing yourself too low. They're like, this girl is very on the market.
Yeah, we're hiring her, duh. But now I'm like.
You're charging what?
Exactly. But now I'm like, I work with couples for a year and a half, sometimes 2 years. And like, there's been times I've done the math and it's like the hourly rate that I make is like still not that high because it's so much work. But anyways.
You love it.
I love it so much. And so yeah, I do like 15 weddings a year. Love them. And then I also do like online resources. So it's like I have a custom timeline generator that makes your wedding timeline in seconds, or like master checklist. That's like a full guide for the last 6 weeks. And so those are catered to the bride who doesn't have a planner because to your point, like the whole reason I have an audience that even cares to watch my content is because most people don't have planners, right? So
even though we advise that if you can look at your budget and you can carve it out, get a day of coordinator, get someone a month out, get someone 2 months out, like it is worth it because you don't want to be fielding a call from your like cake baker that they're delivering your cake and you're getting your makeup done. Yeah. 100%. Like that's not the move. And you don't want them to be your sister or your mom or your aunt because then you're going to hate them.
No, exactly. I like always... I say that I'm like, it should be a non-negotiable to have a day of. I understand that like there's a financial part of it, but like you
can find someone at any price point.
Yes. Somebody starting out.
Yeah.
Like you can do all the work, get your timeline, do everything, but like
hand over the plans.
Exactly. Because you are the guest of honor and the host. Like no other major life event will that happen.
You both? Yeah.
Because like, you throw a birthday party, but like, okay, if the cake doesn't show up for your birthday party, like, you're going to be fine.
Stakes are not so high.
But the wedding? Yeah. I'm like, you have to do this. So I try to provide resources and like educate people, like get yourself really organized, do everything you can, hire somebody, like please. But I just like, some people can't. We all know that. So yeah, it's evolved into that. I do content creation, obviously. I'm starting a new little wing of my business in the next couple months, which I'm really excited about. So, and then I do like some partnerships and stuff. So I love having lots of things going on. It's the best. So
how has your business and content changed now that you're a bride yourself?
Yeah. I get it more, I think, but it hasn't changed that much. Like I think now when I speak about things, if I'm doing it for my own wedding, I say that like, listen, I've been telling you for 2 years that you should do a first look. I'm doing it for my wedding. Like, I think it carries more weight because there's a huge difference between like a planner who is in the industry than a bride who's also doing it for her content or for herself. But we're keeping our wedding pretty private until it happens.
For sure.
For a multitude of reasons.
Yeah. Because how many TikTok followers you have
like
now?
1.2 million.
Yeah, that's a lot of people.
Which I'm like, who's to say somebody would show up? I don't know. Probably not. But I don't want that information circulating.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And we like have security because of our venue. So I'm like, I'm not actually worried about it, but.
What details will you share? Like size, big, small?
Yeah. We're doing like 120 people.
So that's like a decent size.
I hope we end up at 100, if I'm being honest. That's like my dream.
Are you giving general, like timeline? Are you sharing like around the time?
We're getting married in the spring of next year.
Okay.
Yeah. And my bridal party ended up being bigger than I anticipated, which will be fun because I have a lot of brides that have larger bridal parties. And as a planner, I was always like, I don't get it. Like, it
Were
just
you judgy?
Of course, if I'm being honest. And now I'm like, I will never, because it just is like,
it's hard. You have so many friends. You have family. You have cousins. You have your future sister-in-law, whatever.
No, literally, exactly. And so I was like, I actually can't imagine
Can you give us a range? How big is big?
I have 9.
Oh, 9.
Which is not like I've had much larger,
huge.
But I thought I was going to have 5. So maybe I'm just judging myself.
Maybe you are. It's funny. On an earlier podcast, we had a Valerie, wedding photographer on, and she said she had a wedding where there was 40 in the bridal party. Not on each side, but total. That's 20. Yeah, that's a lot. But she said it was fun and like the photos were epic and like made it work. But that's a lot of people to have to worry about.
It's a lot of people.
That's like some people's like wedding size.
No, truly. So
9's not that bad.
No, okay. I feel
Is it 9 per side or 9 total?
9 per side, I think.
So you got a little mini dinner party going on there.
Yeah, I'm excited. It's going to be so fun. Like I can't imagine doing my wedding without any of them. And so.
Are there other things in your planning process that have like surprised you as someone who is a professional, like that you weren't expecting?
Honestly, I wish I could say yes, but I think because I'm a planner and I do full service for people. And my cousin, who's like my sister, is getting married this May.
And you're doing her wedding.
And I'm doing her wedding. And so I really feel like I have seen it all, you know?
Let's talk about that though. Helping your, basically like your sister plan. Because that's how I got into Loverly, was helping my sister plan. She was in the wedding industry. It's a similar story. Like, was that like a different dynamic than working with someone who, hires you off the street, I should say?
Yeah, it's a little bit of a different dynamic, but my cousin is the most chill bride of my life. I just adore her. She makes it so easy.
She's like, you handle it all.
Literally.
Just make it aesthetic.
Yes. And she's not picky. Like she like is so easy that like, no, if I tell her somebody's really great, like she'll be like, great.
Do it.
And honestly, we knew she was going to be engaged for about 6 months. And I told her, if you want to get married in the spring, we have to basically start planning before you get engaged. Because I was planning weddings like for the end of 2024 and like beginning of 2025. And I was like, like, if you're getting married in 6 months, like we have to start. So we had a lot of conversations prior where I was like, these are the photographers you should consider and like all that stuff. So, but I'm her planner and her maid of honor.
Oh, wow.
And
that's a lot.
It is. But I don't want anybody else doing it. That's what I've come back to. Even when I have felt like, okay, there's like kind of a lot going on right now. I'm like, I don't want anybody else to do this. And it's like, I'm so happy to do it for her. It's so fun to be in the process with her. And honestly, it's been good. But there is a huge difference between doing it for family and friends than it is for people that just know me off of TikTok or Instagram or whatever. Because I am just a planner to them as opposed to like with friends, which my cousin has not asked too much of me, but that can happen. Like people kind of like are like, you're my friend and my planner. Like, can you come do this thing for me on Sunday night? And I'm like,
doesn't really work.
I can't do that.
Yeah.
Like I am
boundaries
resting or like, you know, I'm like breathing, trying. So, but it's been really fun. I've loved it. And honestly, because I've done everything with her, it's like a true practice round for my own wedding. I'm like, I've like the alterationist. I'm not always involved with that with my clients. I tell them like where to go, but so I'm like seeing it all. So
you're getting a full test run.
I am. Yeah.
I love that for you.
I'm loving it. Yeah.
I'd love to kind of dive a little bit into the personal relationship situation if you want to share about your fiance and the process of designing your ring and your engagement.
Yeah.
Like what is that pressure like for your partner? I mean, I know my fiance did a great job and it's a lot of pressure.
Yes.
But like, did you know it was coming?
Yeah. Well, his name is Michael and he's the best. Like, I feel like whenever people ask me like about him, what I love about him, he is like truly the best person that I know, which gives me like just so much peace and confidence marrying him. And so we had a conversation like decently early in our relationship because we knew it was going to be long term. I come from a background where people get engaged and married pretty quickly and he doesn't, where it's like obviously people end up getting engaged, but we had a conversation of like, we will be engaged by 2 years together, which for us was like perfect, like no rush, but also we know it's coming.
Yeah.
Obviously as a planner, I was like, I would love to know.
You're like, I need a timeline.
Yeah. No, literally. I was like, and yeah, I was 100% that way. But I did actually know it was when it was going to happen by accident.
Oh no.
Like I didn't tell him until after, but so when we were like, knew we were going to get engaged within a couple months, we were talking about if we'll do an engagement party. And I was like, I would love to do one. Like they're so fun. I want to see all of our friends and family anyways. So he was like, can you create a guest list of like who you would like at the engagement party from your side of things? Totally. So I created it and I created a note and I screenshot it and sent it to him. And I was like, here you go. It was like, can you share it with me? Like make me a collaborator because if you make changes, I want to be updated.
Oh, wow.
Well,
the planner.
Yes. I was like, perfect. Amazing. But he didn't realize that when you become a collaborator, if one person edits, it notifies the other person.
Oh no.
So he like went in, he was like in the notes that we shared and typed in what he was going to send to all of my friends and family.
Oh no.
Yeah.
He like gave you the plan.
He did.
Aw, bless his heart.
I like saw the notification pop up because I was working and I was like, why didn't Michael edit this? And then I opened it and within like 1 second, I saw the date.
Oh no.
And I was like, oh my gosh.
Did you click out of it or did you stick in there? Okay.
Immediately I clicked out of it and he kept making edits.
Oh no.
And I was like internally like, do I tell him?
Oh.
But if I tell him,
then he's going to be sad.
Exactly. He's going to be sad. He might have to reschedule. I don't want to reschedule.
Yeah.
Like, I'm ready to be engaged. So I knew for like 12 days before it happened and they were the longest 12 days.
12 days is actually like a relatively short period.
No, I know.
That's okay.
I was
wow.
dying. I was like, I just
Well, you
needed
probably
to
had the
happen.
best outfit and the best nails.
Sure did. I got a facial
ready.
that week. I went and got my hair done. I like got my nails done. Like truly.
She was ready.
Everything. Yeah, exactly. But it was still like perfect. It was still, I didn't like know where it was happening. I didn't know like what.
You just knew the date time.
I knew the date.
Okay.
Yeah. And it was fun to hear him like try and
throw you off?
Like,
oh, gosh.
like this is what we're doing on this day. And I'm like, interesting. Because I think we're doing something else.
But
wow.
And when you told him afterwards, was he sad?
He was.
Oh.
He was bummed. Because honestly, he's a very thorough person. Like between the two of us, he works in accounting. Like, and so he is very organized and like very on top of stuff. And so he was more so bummed because he never makes mistakes like that.
And he wanted it to be
He wanted it to be a surprise. But honestly, it was perfect. I was able to like fully prepare myself and like, you know, it was great. But
you shared it on TikTok?
Yeah.
Is that one of the ones that, sorry, I'm not up to date on the thing.
Yeah,
you shared it with your audience. It was a thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I waited a little bit until we got like our professional photos back. But yeah, I was so excited to tell everybody. I had filmed a video the week leading up saying like every day, like, okay, this is how I'm feeling today. Or like, this is what he said today.
Amazing.
And so I showed him that video before I posted it because I was like, are you okay with everybody knowing?
Yeah. So everyone knowing that I knew.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, but he was like, yeah, it's all good. It's like, no big deal. So, but for the ring, I told him exactly what I wanted. And I just was like, I want just like a round cut diamond on a gold band. So simple. It's the ring my grandma has. So for like as long as I can remember, it's been the like ring that I want. And then I'm like, I can have fun with a wedding band.
Flash it.
Yeah, there she is. I'm wearing a ring with it right now. But
it's like the most quintessential classic. Yeah. Gorgeous.
That's what I was
I'm
going
a gold girl too.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of gold.
Yeah, I love it.
I feel like gold is having like such a moment right now.
It totally is.
Because platinum was the thing like 10 years ago.
Yeah. Everybody's doing
Is it going to
gold.
come back again, do you think?
Of course. It always does.
Yeah. Would you ever like swap out your band?
My wedding band or my engagement
Or your engagement band? Like, would you ever like, I mean, I love mine right now. I love it so much.
Yeah.
But I'm just wondering like in 10 years, if it's all about platinum, am I going to want to like reset?
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. Maybe just get another one.
Yeah. Just a second one.
Yeah.
I'm like,
for the other
maybe
hand.
like after I'm done having kids.
Yeah.
I'm like, look what I just did.
Yeah.
Like maybe I no, but part of the reason I loved and wanted this specific cut and ring is that it's so timeless. Like it just like I can wear it for as long or like our kids can have it like as an heirloom or whatever. So I don't know that I'll ever change it. I don't know. But let's talk in 20 years and I'll let you know.
And see how you feel.
Yeah.
You give a lot of wedding planning advice.
Yeah.
To your audience. Like what do you think for someone who's just starting out? Like if you're just getting started, like what do you say? Is like give us the highlights.
Yeah. So I always say just like celebrate. Like don't do anything for your wedding. We had about 2 months where we didn't do anything. Well, that's not totally true. I like started looking into things and was like, I can't help myself.
Yeah.
But because I knew we were getting married in spring, which is like so popular that I was like, anyways, 2 months of like not officially doing anything, just talking and toying with things and like collecting addresses and stuff. But I would tell somebody like, just enjoy it. Like once you start planning, it does not stop. Like there's no way to, like it just doesn't stop. But the only caveat to that is if you're getting married in like 4 months. If you're getting married in like 4 months, you just can't.
You got to start planning.
That's part of the sacrifice. Like you're getting married faster.
Don't celebrate. You're basically celebrating in 4 months anyways. Like get on it.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I always say celebrate. And then one of the most time consuming things that I think lags is like collecting addresses. So if you're like not ready to actually start.
We got you on Loverly.
Oh,
we have an address collector. Yep. Just text people a link. It collects everything and you can organize it into our guest list.
I need to use that.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Oh, girl, we got to get you hooked up.
Honestly, I really need, because I feel like you guys have so many great things that I just need.
It's a new feature that we rolled out and it was after my engagement party.
Yeah.
I was using like Postable because that's like the one, you know, but then I had to like download it and then upload it to where I was printing. I was like, this is so annoying.
Yes.
And then I also wanted certain things like formal addressing.
Yes.
Right? Like not just who's coming, but the household label is different than what you're putting, you know, like there's a household name, then there's the individual people invited, then there's the RSVPs. And then I wanted to organize people when they were sitting by like group.
Yes.
Like, my fiance's friends, my friends from college, my friends from work, my friends from my family. And so I want to be able to tag everyone.
Yeah.
So we like you got to check it out and then give me your planner POV on it. But we basically built it based on my own engagement party and all the things that I wanted. Yeah.
Honestly, like that's so valuable. I think like
it takes a long time.
Yes. Until you're a bride, you do not understand.
Unless you mail holiday cards every single year, which I did, but
it's different.
It's different.
It's different. Yeah. No, that's honestly where our list started, is because we got engaged in the fall. Mm-hmm. So I was mailing holiday cards. Mm-hmm. So I already had a bunch of addresses that I started being like, okay, we'll save these for the wedding as well. But it's so time consuming. Sometimes people move. Like it's just like honestly having a system.
And that's really sad when someone moves and you mail them an invitation that you're like, that cost me $5 to mail it.
Truly.
Between like the actual printing and like, then you have to reprint. It's a whole situation.
Yeah, you don't want to, I know. I feel like because we are like mid to late 20s, where people are moving all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Like we have moved 4 times since we've been together, and I'm like, I need to never move again. But it's so normal until you buy a house. Yeah. You're always moving.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of the fun of it, right? You can like move to one city and then be like, and then move back to
wherever you want.
Literally wherever you want, which is so fun. So yeah, I always say collect addresses and then budget. I feel like I wish I had I mean, you get this, but like weddings are so expensive for the average, I mean for everybody, but for the average person, like working person, it's almost inconceivable how much money it costs. And so it's important, I feel like, to set that firm budget, and also like, where is that money coming from?
Yeah.
Are you taking it out of your paycheck every month? Great. Is it your parents? Because it affects like what you can do.
Yeah.
You know, because
also when you should get married. So like if you need more time, there's no problem with having a 2 or 3 year engagement if you want to have a big blowout party. 100%. Like I feel like that can be a move. And a lot, just because venues, right? I feel like with COVID, there was like the overflow of everyone from 21 and 20 to get married, right? So people are used to longer engagements now.
Yeah, it's true.
So like you could throw on an extra year if you want to, have a big all-out party.
More, honestly, 100%. And I feel like it's also more common now to get legally married, like at the courthouse, and then have your wedding later.
For sure.
Which, honestly, I toyed with that idea because I was like, I kind of just want to be married. Like, we live our lives so much together. But then I was like, we're only doing a year and a half. Like, we can totally
hold on.
Wait out.
Having the money conversation is also so important because
100%.
A lot of people are really uncomfortable talking about money.
Yeah.
Right? Especially if there's a family dynamic, like, is your family contributing?
Yeah.
And then if people in the family are contributing or whoever is contributing, knowing that like they're probably going to have influence on some of the decisions, or they might not. But you need to 100%. Know. You need to have that conversation.
I feel like that can be one of the hardest parts of getting support from family. But it's like, if it's more uncommon, I think, unless you are getting married like late 20s, 30s, and like have had a really successful career, it's like kind of uncommon to pay for your wedding all by yourself.
Oh, yeah.
So you're like, of course, you need the help of your parents or whatever, who may have been saving for so long.
Yeah.
But that's a huge part of it is like, you got to just anticipate the opinions and like, it's like people ask me that all the time. What do I do about like an overbearing mom or like a mother-in-law or whatever? And I'm like, if they're paying for it, like if I put myself in my shoes, like if we have a kid and like we're helping pay for the wedding, I'm not going to be overbearing, but it's like, I don't know, have $70,000, $80,000, $100,000. That's a lot of money. So I understand why parents like give it and then are like, okay, but like, I don't know, like have opinions about what they want. It's hard.
It's really hard. Actually, Jove Meyer was on like basically one of our first podcast episodes, and he said something that like stuck with me. He said, whoever pays has the power.
100%.
So just like take that into consideration. Like if you're thinking about getting some money from family.
And it's also like weddings get so emotional and complicated because like for most parents, if they are like have dreamt of their child getting married, they've thought about their wedding day since that child was like born, basically. So your parents have all of these years of like what they thought.
They have their own idea. Yeah, their own ideas. They're attached to like a vision in their mind, and maybe that's not your vision or vibe.
Yeah. And it's just like, it's so hard to balance it. But to your point, like having conversations about it, like first you and your fiance about where are we getting money? How are we approaching this? You know, like, are we giving your mom more opinion than my mom or whatever?
Or are they getting more guests on the guest list? Because that can be it too. Like with my engagement party, my dad is like the quintessential host, and we did it at his house. And you know, I was like, Dad, like I trust you. Like I got to choose the design stuff, but he handled the food, and the food was amazing. But he also like had a lot of people on the guest list that like were people that were his friends and family because he wanted to celebrate with them. And I totally get that. And it was, you know, but that was an expectation I knew. Like he was hosting it. So of course he's going to, invite some of his friends, and they were all very generous and gave us really nice gifts. So thank you for them.
I love that. That's like, that I feel like is always the silver lining to having to invite like
parents' friends.
Exactly. It's like, they're probably richer than I am. So
they're probably richer than your 25-year-old broke friend.
Which totally, I get it. Like
better gifts.
I'm like, sure, you're invited. Even if they don't come, they usually send you something.
Yeah.
So
very polite.
Maybe that's like the silver lining all brides need to take into it is like, okay, invite them.
Yeah.
You might get a great like KitchenAid mixer out of it.
Yeah.
Which
who doesn't love a KitchenAid mixer? I will say I love that is one of my top gifts that I got from my wedding registry. It's the best. Have you ever made buttercream frosting in it?
Yes. Oh, I'm like, baking is my stress reducing hobby. Like last night we got home from hanging out with friends, 9:30. I was like, I have to have oatmeal raisin cookies right now.
Oh, wow.
I made a half batch in our KitchenAid mixer. I feel like I have, you know, like when you mix, I guess your buttercream is what you just said. Yeah. So like if you figure out how to like properly mix your butter and your sugar when you're making cookies, transforms the like texture of your cookies completely. I'm obsessed with it.
Makes it like, the buttercream in there is like you're eating air. It's amazing.
Incredible.
Yeah.
And you just said it.
Add it to your registry, everyone.
Yeah, literally.
Not sponsored by KitchenAid, but maybe we should
Wouldn't that be a dream?
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, it's like the best thing.
Are you doing a registry, by the way?
100%.
Traditional, cash?
We'll have a mix. I think what we're gonna do, so we already live together. Like we buy things when we need them.
Yeah.
So it's like we're not putting a ton on it, but
upgrade items.
Our like literally for the last year, we have said anytime we need something new,
upgrade.
We're like, we'll buy it at Target now.
Yeah.
And we're gonna put the nicest version of this on a registry. And if we don't get it, like no big deal.
Yeah.
But like we need a new knife set.
Yeah.
We're putting on the registry. Or like,
the thing is you like don't want to like buy a knife set.
No.
But having a nice knife set is like a game changer.
Yes, 100%.
Perfect wedding registry add-on.
Yeah. And I also think we're going to do like have things that contribute to excursions on our honeymoon.
Things to do.
Yeah. So that way it's like pay for a dinner for us in, I don't know where we're going yet, but like Paris or something. You know, and it's like, I would so much rather do that if I'm not going to purchase a gift for somebody. Be like, oh, I paid for your steak.
It's a memorable moment.
Yeah. So we're going to do a mix for sure. But I always tell couples like put more on your registry than you like need.
Yeah.
Because worst case is nope, somebody doesn't buy it.
Yeah.
Best case, somebody does buy it.
Yeah.
And most of the time when something doesn't get purchased, you probably know this, is you get a discount on it.
Yeah.
So I'm like
15% off.
Literally
I'll take it.
Everything on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everything you ever wanted. Just return it if you don't need it.
Speaking of moments, because you were talking about like experiences.
Yes.
As a planner yourself, are you, when you think about your wedding, like will you share or what are you sharing about those like moments and experiences that you're integrating into your big day?
Post or like pre-wedding?
Well,
all
the
now.
things.
Yeah. I plan on sharing a lot. I think I'm for sure going to have a content creator on my wedding day. I think that is like the most genius contribution to the wedding industry recently. Like I was thinking about it yesterday. I don't know how we went.
Did you meet Stacy at the?
Yes.
Yeah.
She came up to me when I was getting my makeup done and I was like, I know you.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't mean to be weird, but I know you. And she was like, okay. I was like, I don't know how I know you. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I know exactly who you are. She's incredible.
Yeah.
She's honestly, it's so fun watching her absolutely kill it.
We're talking about Stacy from BTS Bride.
Yes.
Stacy, you're getting a lot of love and shout out on the podcast.
Sure. She's iconic.
She was on it before. And so
good.
It's funny because you said, I think I know you. I think when I met you, I said that too. I'm like, oh, you look so familiar. Where'd you go to high school? And then I'm like, oh, this is so dumb and so embarrassing.
But it's
when
real.
like, it's like a Oh, from TikTok or from wherever. And then you feel like you know people.
100%.
Does that happen to you all the time?
Happens to me sometimes. It happened a lot right when I got a lot of traction. And it happens a lot at weddings.
Oh.
Like when I'm in my realm, people are like, oh, I know you. But yeah, I find it so sweet. I also like, I never go up to people that I follow on the internet in real life. Like there's a few influencers that live really close to me.
People don't even know. Like I didn't even know that I knew you from that. I'm like, oh, you look so familiar. And it was actually so embarrassing. Alexander Madison and her husband, John, who I love them. They were on the podcast and we did an event so Loverly hosts these like intimate influencer events. Yes. You were at them, right?
Yes.
Influencer and planner.
Yes.
And so we did one in New York last January. So fun. And Alexandra came and like, obviously I follow her on Instagram, but I went up, I'm like, oh my gosh, look, have I met you before? And I did the full thing that I did to you. And I'm like, why do I keep doing this? Why do I keep doing that? I'm like, oh, I know them in my subconscious mind from social media.
Yes. Yeah. Stacey's great. I feel like any bride that needs a content creator, she's like such a good one to have in your back pocket. But we were talking about, the moments.
Yeah.
I plan on sharing a lot after.
Yeah.
Honestly, because I'm so excited about it. I feel like I will tell people like we're for sure doing a first look. I think I'm for sure having a second dress just because.
At least a second. Come on.
Yeah.
I feel like you could do multiple.
Believe me, I could if I really wanted to. But I actually just picked out my wedding dress and I am so excited about it.
Amazing.
And it's like pretty comfortable, but I just like, you've probably seen this, like on wedding day, it does not matter how like comfortable your dress is when you try it on. Get 4 hours into your wedding and like dancing. I don't want to wear this anymore. So I will share more about that. I'm excited to share about the vendors that we use because everybody that we've chosen, I am obsessed with. Like I have done multiple events with the majority of the vendors. And so I'm excited to tell people and be like, listen, I've been recommending these people for years. I used them. Like it just adds to like the credibility of what I'm saying. And so I'm really excited about that. But I'm excited to have content from the day and like not to have to think about it and all that stuff to share. So
we always do this on the pod. Yeah. We do like a rapid fire like trend thing, yay, nay, decisions. Yeah. So I'm going to ask you a few questions.
Yeah, I'm ready.
And you can tell me, give me quick responses.
Okay, I can do that. Usually I'm pretty quick. I just had a coffee, so.
Okay, let's go. Good. How do you feel about bridal party attire? Are you into the matchy-matchy? What's your vibe on that?
I'm into not matchy-matchy. I see brides that do both, but I'm not matchy-matchy for a multitude of reasons, but gives you a higher chance of them wearing it again, and also they will feel more confident and comfortable in it. And also, how much does it really matter? You know what I'm saying? They're in like some of your pictures. And so definitely match.
Match or not?
Sorry, mix and match.
Okay. I was like, wait, I feel like we're getting mixed messages here. Yeah. What about, are you a band or a DJ?
I think they both serve purpose, but I'm a DJ I understand if most of my like high-end luxury clients go band. I think because it just is like, it like takes up more space. It's classy, it's fun, like, you know, and some people have dreamt about a band, but I personally am pro DJ. I think gets people on the dance floor in a completely different way than a band.
What trends give you ick? Like wedding trends?
Honestly, I can't think of any right now.
So you love a garter toss?
I don't love it. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. I sometimes get so afraid of, every time I say something that I have an opinion on that I don't like.
People get angry.
People always respond and are like, well, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I really should learn to just like completely be like, whatever.
0 F's given. I'll tell you, what gives me the ick is I'm not into the garter toss. Yeah. I'm like, can we just be done with that?
Yeah, I won't
that's
doing
over. That's not. I also sometimes get a little ick when there are bridal party entrances or wedding party entrances where they're like awkward. The announcing.
Yes.
I don't know. I get a little ick on that. I get embarrassed.
And honestly, the bridal party is also embarrassed. Like every time I'm lining them up to like cue them in.
Yes.
It does not matter if you're the most extroverted person.
Yeah.
They're dying.
They like, don't love it.
What should I do? And I'm like, I honestly have no idea because I don't know what to do. I'm like, walk in and do a twirl and like, you're done. Yeah, I totally get that. I feel like those are for sure phasing out.
Okay.
Like,
what about the bouquet toss?
I don't mind it, but I will say that if you don't have a lot of single friends, it's horrible.
Yeah.
Like you need to be aware of your audience because if there's four people standing there,
no,
don't do it. It's not fair to them. They're not excited about it.
Yeah.
So that one is like hanging on by a thread, I think.
What about like toasts and speeches? How do you feel about those? Because I get really, really bad secondhand embarrassment when I see a really bad like speech.
Yeah. I love them.
Oh, you do?
I do.
Okay.
Because I feel
Have you seen any bad ones?
Yes, so many.
Okay.
But
you still love them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the majority are good. I feel like that's what my experience. But I always tell my couples, people can reach out to me if they're nervous about what they should write about because I have like a great little simple template that they can follow. And then
There's also ChatGPT.
Yeah, exactly. There's so many things that allow you to write a good speech without trying that hard. Yeah. But I think the reason I love it as both a guest and a planner is when I interact with my couples, I only know them as like couple planner. Like a lot of my couples, we become friends, but you know, I'm their planner, they're paying me. Like there's just like, you know, that's how it should be. Like I'm working for them, for lack of a better word. So being able to watch their like mom and dad talk about them or like their sister, like I get to see another side of them that I would not otherwise see. So I think that's why I love it is I'm like, oh, this is so fun. I get to like learn more about you and all that stuff. So in planning, when we work together, like when I work with couples, usually people are like so wonderful, but it brings out a different side of you. It's a different side of your brain and like different level of stress and all that stuff. So it's fun to be like, oh, this is how you were as a kid or in high school or whatever. Like not in a weird way, but
no, that's
just
so
like getting
sweet
to know somebody better. So
and it's probably that way for the rest of the guests too. Maybe I'm just like hyper embarrassed from my own trauma of my sister's wedding speech that I completely messed up. I was very drunk for. Yeah, PTSD. So maybe that's why I don't like it.
But I don't think you're alone in that. I feel like toasts often, it goes like bouquet toss is going to be the next to go. Toasts are also going to be, after that, they're going to go because I think a lot of people feel the same way. Yeah. Or people don't like giving them. It's like the grand entrance thing. Like people
Sweaty
don't
palms.
like that. Yeah. They just want to be part of it and like not showy or whatever. So.
This has been the Loverly Wedding Podcast. We are hosted by Kelly Khalil, produced by Shannon Dietrich and Jennifer Alvarado, edited by Terry Carmichael. Watch the podcast on YouTube by subscribing to our channel, and you can follow and listen to us on Spotify, iTunes, and every major podcast feed.